This video will challenge everything you currently believe about strength training. You do not get stronger by adding weight to the bar. You get stronger and then you're able to add weight to the bar. As soon as I understood this concept, my lift started blowing up and I was PRing every single training block. At the minute, you probably think that getting stronger works like this. You train hard, you add weight to the bar every single week, and then you get stronger. But that hasn't been working out great for you, has it? You've been trying to force weight on the bar every week. It gets harder and harder. And then eventually you start failing reps. You're probably following something like 5x5, 5-3-1, Texas method or something like that. And how do I know that? Because I did those programs for years and I got stuck exactly where you are now. I was doing my 90 kilos on bench press for a 5x5, chasing that 2 plates, and it never happened. I just got frustrated and kept missing reps and having to reset. So if you want a smarter approach to training, click the top link in the description and there's 3, 4, and 5 day programs there for you. Let's get right into it. So you do not get stronger by adding weight to the bar. You probably heard that and you thought, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But hear me out and I promise by the end of the video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So most intermediate lifters get the process of getting stronger backwards. You think that you add weight to the bar and then you get stronger. It actually works in the reverse. So you get stronger and then you're able to add weight to the bar. So let me use an example that you can probably relate to, and I'll put it on screen. So let's say on week 1, you bench 90 kilos for 5 sets of 5. And it's at around an RPE 5 to 6. So let's say you've got about 4 or 5 reps left in the tank at the end of each set. So it was quite easy. Then on week 2, you add 5 kilos and you do 95 kilos for 5 sets of 5. It was a little bit harder, probably like RPE 7 or 8. So at the end of each set, maybe you had 2 or 3 reps left in the tank. Week number 3, you add another 5 kilos and you do 100 kilos for 5 sets of 5. But this time it was super hard. It was like RPE 9, 10. So every rep on the final set was like really, really hard, really grindy, really slow. You had basically no reps left in the tank. So over those 3 weeks, did you actually get any stronger, or did you just put more weight on the bar and just try harder? Because those efforts aren't comparable. They were at a light difficulty, a moderate difficulty, and a hard difficulty. We can't really compare if you got stronger. Now, let me explain in a bit more detail. So in order for you to get stronger long term, the process basically goes like this. We apply a stress, which is lifting weights. You recover, adaptations take place, and then you get stronger. You're able to put more weight on the bar. Now, when you try and force more weight on the bar every single week, this represents too much stress. That is why you are not recovering appropriately, adapting, and getting stronger. And that's why it feels like you're going backwards and you're just trying harder every single week. And it feels impossible to add weight to the bar. Once you're past that beginner phase of training, you cannot expect to PR every single week. The adaptations don't happen that quickly. So your ability to actually put more weight on the bar is because of the previous training. It's because you did good training, adaptations took place, and now you can put more weight on the bar. It's not that you put more weight on the bar to get stronger. You are putting more weight on the bar because you're able to, because you did good training. You accumulated appropriate stress in the previous training sessions. Hopefully this makes sense to you. And what you need to understand is that the more advanced you get and the stronger you get, this time period of accumulating good training gets longer and longer and longer. So when you're a beginner, yes, you can add more weight to the bar week after week after week because you're adapting and recovering really quickly. Once you're an intermediate, it takes a little bit longer. Maybe you need to do 2 or 3 good weeks of training before you can PR. At my point of training, I need to train for like a year straight to have a small PR on my squat, bench, or deadlift. Now, just simply forcing more weight on the bar backfires because you can't recover, then you don't adapt, and then you're not prepared to add weight to the bar in the next session. And that's why you start failing reps, and that's why you're not making very good progress. And you already know this. Like, you've been trying to force this approach for months, maybe even years, and it hasn't been working for you. That's why your numbers are still stuck in this like intermediate phase. So instead of following your current approach, where you just do these like straight sets really hard, you try and force weight on the bar every single week, let's use a better approach. Let's section your training into blocks, like weeks of 4 to 6. So 4 to 6 week blocks. What we do, we start the block light, we end it heavy. So it gets progressively heavier through the block. In the next block, we repeat the process, but starting slightly heavier than the previous block. And basically, your blocks would go in a wave like this, where they start light, end heavy. The next one would start slightly heavier, end slightly heavier, and they build on each other like this. So what we would do in these blocks, we would use one heavy top set. This heavy top set would be 1 to 3 reps at RPE 5 to 9. If you don't know what RPE is, it's basically a 1 through 10 scale. RPE 10 is failure, RPE 9 is 1 rep in reserve, RPE 8 is 2 reps in reserve, and so on. This top set is going to get heavier and heavier throughout the block. And the reason for this top set is basically it gives us skill practice at heavier weights, and it acts as a gauge for progress, because if it's going up week after week and you're able to add weight to it, it means the program's working and you're getting stronger. So week 1, you might do a set of 3 at RPE 5, RPE 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we reset and we might do a set of 2 and then singles in the third block. So after that top set, we're going to do some back down volume, and we're going to do that a little bit lighter than you've currently been doing. So we might do 3 to 6 sets of 3 to 6 reps at 60 to 75% of your estimated 1 rep max on a given day. So this gives us a top set back off approach compared to your just like 5x5, 3x5 that you've currently been doing. Now, basically the top set, we're aiming to add weight every single week. If you're able to, great, the program is working. If you're not able to and you're feeling well recovered, those back down sets might need to get a little bit heavier. So at first, I would recommend the back off sets, you just keep them at the same weight week after week after week. Why would we do that? Because if these back down sets are getting us stronger, so let me give you an example so you can understand. My lights just died, but it's all good. So let's say your top set on bench press is 100 kilos. Then your back down sets, let's say they're around like 75, 80 kilos. Now, if that top set is going up every week with us lifting like 75, 80 kilos on the back off sets, why would we make the back off sets heavier? They clearly are an appropriate stress because we're getting stronger. We don't need to change them. You don't need to just force weight on the bar for no reason. Now, when the top set stops going up, you can't add weight to it, or you start missing reps or something like that, then we can start to make those back off sets a little bit heavier if you're feeling well recovered. So maybe we'll go from 75 kilos to 77, keep it at 77, then we'll go 80, and we'll just slowly kind of titrate them up over time based on how you're responding. Don't just blindly add weight to the bar just because. We don't care about the actual weight. We care about stress. We apply stress, we recover, we adapt. If the current level of stress is getting us stronger, it means it's appropriate, and we just keep running it until it doesn't. So you need to understand that when you're an intermediate or a more advanced lifter, you might need exposure to an appropriate stress for a long period of time before you can PR. You might need to be lifting the same weights for week after week after week until you can actually add weight to the bar. You can't just expect to add weight every single week. If you could, we'd all be benching like 1,000 kilos by now. So hopefully this is making sense in your head. If you can't really understand it, you don't really know how to apply this, top link in the description and you'll see 3, 4, and 5 day programs that will help you out. So to kind of summarize what I'm talking about then, right now, you are currently doing like straight sets of like a 3x5, a 5x5. You're trying to add weight to the bar every week because you think that adding weight means you're then going to get stronger. I want you to flip that and think about it the other way. You do good training, then you can add weight to the bar because you got stronger, because those adaptations took place. We just need to apply a stress, recover, adaptations take place, and then you can put more weight on the bar. I want you to do a top set back off approach where you do a top set of 1 to 3 reps, RPE 5 to 9. It increases in difficulty through the weeks. We aim to add weight to that set every single week. If you're able to, great. If not, you may need to make your back down sets a little bit harder if you feel well recovered. The back down work is going to be 3 to 6 sets of 3 to 6 reps at 60 to 75% of your max. Now, this approach gives us the best of both worlds. We get the top set that lets us practice at heavier weights for lower velocities. It's the skill practice that allows us to demonstrate our strength, and it's a good gauge for progress. The back down work is the quality volume that we get in that actually allows us to adapt and get stronger. We don't want our sets to all be super hard and grindy because we need to recover from them in order for the adaptations to take place. This approach is super simple, and I just really want you to change your mindset around how to approach training. You don't need to add weight to the bar to get stronger. You need to do good training, accumulate stress, adaptations take place, and then you're able to add weight to the bar, okay? So try and flip that in your mind. Now, I really appreciate you watching this video, and I really hope some of these concepts have helped you to understand your training a little bit better, because I know this was like a massive game changer for me. And when I teach it to my clients, they really start to understand the training process a little bit more. I try and explain it to them as like, imagine that you're depositing loads of training sessions into a savings account, and then 3 or 6 months down the line, you finally cash out and you hit a PR. Imagine like you were saving for a big purchase like a car or something. You were trying to fill your savings account, and then every like month or two you kept spending and the account kept going down and down. It's exactly the same as your strength training. Too many of you are doing a couple weeks of training, feeling a little bit strong, trying to hit a PR, failing, repeating this cycle over and over. Whereas you need to deposit loads of training sessions at an appropriate stress over and over and over again, and then you hit the PR at the end. So maybe if you're putting together these 3 blocks in a row where we do triples, doubles, singles, you hit a PR at the end of that 3rd block, rather than just mindlessly just trying to add weight to the bar every single week, failing and keep resetting, and you'll be in the position you're in right now. So go and apply some of these results to your training. I really hope this helped you out. I'll put another video on screen that can help you to understand this concept. And if you have any questions, comments, and stuff like that, leave them in the comment section of the video. I reply to every comment, and I'll catch you in the next video.